Hello, I am Kim Benton, Chief Academic Officer at the Mississippi Department of Education, and I would like to thank you for joining us to find out more about Mississippi's Literacy-Based Promotion Act. In this recording, you will be provided with an overview of the Literacy-Based Promotion Act, as well as strategies that parents and caregivers can use to help children improve their reading skills. Passed in 2013 by the Mississippi Legislature, the Literacy-Based Promotion Act focuses on prevention and intervention to help children develop the reading skills required for fourth grade. Beginning in April 2015, all third graders in our state will be tested on the third grade reading assessment that will determine promotion to fourth grade. The Literacy-Based Promotion Act has made reading instruction a major focus of kindergarten through third grade. Throughout the school year, teachers have been providing intensive reading instruction to students who are reading below grade level. They have also shared information with parents about their child's individual reading progress. Parent involvement is critical to the success of our students. With 1/3 of a child's waking hours spent in school each week, that leaves a significant amount of time for parents and caregivers to positively impact literacy outcomes for children in our state. Simply put, our children benefit when we leverage our collective energy and work together in this effort. Family involvement and understanding will be critical to each child's success. In this recording, Dr. Kimiana Burke, State Director for the Literacy-Based Promotion Act, will share critical information to equip parents to support their children. As you view the presentation, if you have questions, please reach out to your child's teacher, to school district personnel, or to the State Department of Education. We are here to help. Together, we can assist all of our children in becoming strong readers and strong leaders. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Kimiana Burke, State Literacy Coordinator for the K-3 Literacy-Based Promotion Act. Welcome to our presentation, Literacy-Based Promotion Act, Parents as Partners. In this session, we will discuss implementing the Literacy-Based Promotion Act, the third grade reading summative assessment, parents as partners, tips for parents and families, and also our most recently released Parent Read at Home plan. If you are in a session at your school, please respond to the following questions. How do you partner with your child's teacher? What help or resources do you need to strengthen this relationship? And what help or resources do you need to support your child in reading? The Literacy-Based Promotion Act, which was passed in 2013, seeks to improve the reading skills of kindergarten through third grade public school students so that every student completing third grade reads at or above grade level. A major part of the Literacy-Based Promotion Act deals with screening and diagnosing student deficiencies. Therefore, a universal screening assessment was administered to all first through third grade students at the beginning of the year. This will occur at least 3 times during the year, which would have been the beginning of the year, the middle of the year, and it will occur at the end of the year. The screening and diagnostic assessment provides a critical first look at individual students. They also provide in-depth information about an individual student's particular strengths and any needs that the student may have for Tier 2 supplemental instruction and/or Tier 3 intensive intervention. If a K-3 student has been identified with a substantial deficit in reading, the teacher will immediately and with each quarterly progress report notify parents or legal guardians of the determination and plans for addressing the deficiency. Parent letters should have been received in September of 2014 if a reading deficiency was identified with your child. The third grade reading summative assessment, otherwise known as the third grade reading gate. This year, a student scoring at the lowest achievement level in reading on the established state assessment for third grade will not be promoted to fourth grade. The assessment will be administered during the April 10th through April 23rd testing window. And a student who fails to meet the academic requirements for promotion to the fourth grade may be promoted for one of 5 good cause exemptions. The first good cause exemption is for limited English proficient students with less than 2 years of instruction in English language learner programs. The second good cause exemption is for students with disabilities whose IEP or individualized education program may indicate that participation in the statewide accountability assessment program is not appropriate. This good cause exemption would be for students who are considered severely cognitively disabled. The next good cause exemption is for students with a disability who participate in the accountability assessment and who have either an IEP or Section 504 plan that may reflect that the student has received intense remediation in reading for 2 years but still demonstrates a deficiency and was previously retained. The fourth good cause exemption is for students who may demonstrate an acceptable level of reading proficiency on an alternative assessment approved by the State Board of Education. And this would be the retest. Lastly, students who receive intensive intervention for 2 or more years but still may demonstrate deficiency in reading and who previously were retained for 2 years, and that can be in any grade, kindergarten through third grade. Those students may qualify for a good cause exemption. Please note that this good cause exemption differs from the third good cause exemption in that students in E do not have to have an IEP or 504 plan. Interventions for students who are promoted for good cause exemptions. We know that students who are promoted to fourth grade based on good cause exemptions still may experience reading difficulty. Therefore, the law provides for these students to still be provided with intensive reading instruction and intervention informed by data and delivered through specific strategies in order to meet the student's needs. The assessment timeline is on your screen. Note that there will be 2 retest opportunities. One of those retests will occur during the school year in May. The second retest will occur over the summer, and it will be required that documentation shows that intervention has been provided for the students prior to taking the retest number 2. Some important test information that you need to know is that the third grade summative assessment will be computer adaptive, which means that the questions may get easier or harder based on how the student answers the previous question. If a student answers the question correctly, then the next question will be more difficult. However, if the student answers the question incorrectly, then the next question may be around the same level of difficulty or may get a little easier. Also note that this test will be taken online only using a computer or tablet, and will have 3 practice items before the student completes the test, which will include 50 test items, and those items will be multiple choice. The following slides provide some sample items from the assessment along with the area in which the students will be assessed. Later, we will look at these items and areas, and we will give strategies and provide strategies for parents to use at home. On this slide, to your left is a phonics and word recognition sample item. And on your right is an item that represents how a student will be assessed in his or her knowledge of fluency. On the left, you will see a paragraph and 4 answer choices. This assesses a student's knowledge of range of reading and level of text complexity. And text complexity just deals with the level on which a student can read and understand the materials. On the right, a student's knowledge of craft and structure is assessed, and you see the example of a test item there. This slide assesses a student's knowledge of key ideas. On the left, there's a sample item that deals with key ideas and details. And on the right, a student is asked to integrate that knowledge, which means to combine what they have read in the story to be able to answer the question. On this slide, a student's knowledge of vocabulary is assessed, and this is a sample item. Parents as partners. Our theme for this initiative is Strong Readers, Strong Leaders. As parents, you play a vital and very important role in supporting your child's reading and ensuring student success. In this slide, this shows how things may have changed in 50 years. Whereas on the left, the parents are asking the child, what's the meaning of these marks? And on the right, the parent asks the teacher, what's the meaning of these marks? We want parents and teachers and the student to all be partners and be responsible for student success. Research shows that increased family involvement in school had greater implications for children's literacy than did family income, maternal level of education, or child ethnicity. Tips for parents and families. So what does this mean for parents? Parents must communicate regularly with teachers to know their child's reading level. Also note that parents must be notified immediately if a reading deficiency is identified. Parents, please make sure that you have communicated with your teacher to know where your child stands as far as his or her reading level. And lastly, at-home reading strategies will be shared with you to help increase your child's reading proficiency. So what can you do as a parent? Meet with your child's teacher regularly to discuss his or her performance. Address any concerns as early as possible. And always ask, how can I support my child at home? Please make sure to make a note of any important dates, such as parent nights, conferences, progress reports, when report cards are going to come home, and also when statewide assessments or any assessments will be taken at school. Last but definitely not least, please make sure that your child is present and on time for school. We know that attendance is key to reading success. Communicate with your child. It is great to communicate with parents and teachers and administrators, but also communicate with your child. One of the best ways to support your child is through that two-way communication. It allows your child an opportunity to speak and also to listen. It will inform you of what your child is learning in school, and it will give you some insight on how your child thinks and feels about school. As a parent, you must show that reading is valued. Talk about the importance of reading. Visit libraries with your child. Help create your home library by maybe visiting book and trade stores and also yard sales. And model your support of reading. It is recommended that children read at home for a minimum of 20 minutes per day. Offer a comfortable spot for your child to read at home. Read to your child may read to you, and or you may read together. Parent Read at Home Plan. These are some strategies to support reading. On this slide, you'll see the cover page of the Read at Home plan that was developed by the Mississippi Department of Education. It was compiled using research-based strategies to support reading. This Read at Home plan is available on our website, and we will show the web page at the end of the presentation. Let's look at some strategies in each of the components of reading that are found in the Read at Home plan. For phonemic awareness, which is the ability to hear and distinguish sounds, it's very important that your children are able to identify those sounds and different sounds that are in words. For example, a strategy that you can use would be to orally provide pairs of words that rhyme and pairs that do not rhyme. For example, you would say pan, man, or pet, boy, and ask your child, do pan and man rhyme? Why? Do pet and boy rhyme? Why not? In the area and component of reading of phonics, this is the ability to understand the relationship between letters and the sounds that they represent. So note that in phonemic awareness, which is awareness of sounds without print, students can be exposed to phonemic awareness before they're even able to read. So when they begin with phonics, now they are matching those letters to all of these sounds that they've learned. An example of a strategy that you can use at home to encourage and promote phonics is to point out words that begin with the same letter as your child's names. For example, John and jump. Talk about how the beginning sounds of the words are alike. The third component of reading, fluency, is the ability to read with sufficient speed to support understanding. Two strategies are listed here, and one is repeated reading. The goal of repeated reading is to sound smooth and natural. So this is to help your child read a passage multiple times to focus on not just reading the words, but to read them with accuracy and also with expression. Vocabulary, the student's knowledge of and memory for word meanings. As your child is reading, does he or she understand what the words mean? You can play categories with your child. Name a topic such as farms and ask your child to think of all the words he or she can related to that topic. And this is a great way to build word knowledge. Lastly, comprehension, which is the goal of reading. It is the ability to understand and to draw meaning from text. On this slide, you see before reading, during reading, and after reading strategies that you can do with your child as he or she reads. There are two types of text to which your children will be exposed, and the one that is most familiar is fiction. Fiction deals with stories that are made up. They usually have a beginning, middle, and end. They have setting, characters, and there's usually a problem or conflict in the story that gets resolved. If you're reading fictional text with your children at home, these are some questions that you can ask. Who are the characters? Where does the story take place? What is the problem? And what do you think will happen next? What is the main idea? And are any of the characters in the story like you or someone you know? How so? And the last question deals with analytical thinking, and it really gets the children to begin to think a lot more deeply about what they're reading and also to connect that text to something that they have encountered in real life. The next type of text is informational text. This is your nonfiction text, and it can consist of facts, dates, times, places. It can include text features, such as table of contents and headings. It also includes text structures, such as comparing and contrasting and causes and effects. And some examples of nonfiction text are autobiographies, how-to books, newspapers, magazines. If you're reading an informational or nonfiction text with your child, these are some questions that you can ask. Who or what is this text mainly about? Give me 5 important facts that you learned from the text. Compare what you just read with something else you have read on the same subject. And what conclusions can you make about what you just read? These are some key takeaways from today's presentation. As a parent, you will always be your child's first teacher. Always maintain open communication with your child's teachers. Try the activities and suggestions that have been provided for you today and also in the Read at Home plan. Ask questions, become involved, and attend school functions when possible. For additional information, you may contact Dr. Kimyana Burke or Dr. Tanette Smith in the Office of Elementary Education and Reading, and additional resources, including the Parent Read at Home plan, may be found at www.mde.k12.ms.us/literacy. Thank you.